What's going on, everybody? I'm Giant Opinion Sports. Now, today we're going to talk about Penn State safety Jaquan Brisker. We're going to talk about what he's good at, what he needs to improve on, where he'll go in this draft, and what type of role you can expect him to play in a team that drafts him. But I want to make one thing clear about Jaquan Brisker. This is a tough, competitive kid. He is going to bring it every game, every play. And he shows flashes of high-end processing and instincts. It's amazing to see how he's progressed the past 2 seasons. His first college game, he was hesitant, indecisive. And to watch him this past season and the instinctual plays he put on tape, it's an awesome transformation. And coaches are going to love to work with this kid. I love how he's effective in different safety roles. His tackling is good. 6 tackles for loss. That really shows his aggression. You could tell he loves crashing in line, knocking people's heads off. I heard one person say he'll smack the taste out of your mouth. And that sums him up as well as anything I've heard. But listen, if he's going to set the tone for a defense, he is not a perfect tackler. There was instances where he was a bit over-aggressive. He can occasionally take a poor angle or overshoot the gap he should fill. So there is room to grow, but he's in a good place for starting out in the NFL. Listen, he's just a fearless guy. When he makes mistakes, he at least does 100 miles per hour, and that's all you can really ask for. He did well in congested parts of the field. I liked how he got off blocks. That's something that's very important. But it all comes back to recognition for me. Listen, if Brisker was a bigger guy, I feel good about him playing middle linebacker. That's how high I am on him in the run game. This is a guy that understands his gap responsibility. And he's a dog. And there's teams out there that really need them type of players badly. My Giants included in that group of teams. I like his overall physicality and flexibility. He may only be 200 pounds, but he is long, and he's got all the strength he needs. I think if a team wants to use him exclusively in the box, he'll be able to bulk up and build even more strength. Listen, this guy ran a 4.40, so the speed is there. He's got loose hips, so he can flip his hips and get back in coverage. Every athletic tool is in place. Just a sideline-to-sideline player that is effective in coverage and against the run. Sign me up for that. And as for the coverage, use him however you want. I could see him playing a 1-high role in coverage. Now, I wouldn't want him in that role full-time, but he's very capable of being effective in that spot. I've heard people say he'll be much better in a low hole, working intermediate, and lower throwing windows. I'll say that's probably right at the moment, but just give this kid time in any coverage, any role. And I feel comfortable with him if you give him the playing time to progress. Any kind of zone defense, like we're seeing more and more nowadays, would be a great landing spot for Jaquan Brisker. His length and movement skills will be a nightmare for quarterbacks in the NFL, especially when you factor in how instinctual he really is. He's going to live in passing lanes, be a serious disruptor in coverage in the NFL, and I feel good about just lining him up on a tight end. There isn't really any tight end I can think of that's going to outrun Brisker. It's definitely tough enough to play physically against them down on the line and down the field. Listen, 4.440 time tells you he can line up on wide receivers in the slot as well. He's got that short area burst, very twitchy. To stay with them slot receivers. And you can see on tape he changes directions on a dime. Now, you probably don't want him on them elite slot guys. I'm just saying he could handle some of that if he's asked. And listen, if you got a safety that can do some of this coverage stuff, it allows you to do just a lot more. You can feel a lot better about sending a corner on a blitz, and Brisker can slide down and take the blitzer's responsibility. You can line him up deep and instantly send him down as a robber. He'll be great for a defense that likes all that disguise stuff in their coverage. Weakness-wise, there's just not much. He's greatly improved with diagnosing plays, but there's still snaps where he's slow to diagnose the offense. Sometimes he's a bit slow to get to the play. But he's made huge strides in that department, so I feel better about him improving in the NFL on that. Another issue is he reads the quarterback a lot, just the quarterback's eyes, so he can be looked off at moments. So he might struggle early on with heavy play action offenses. He's going to have to learn how to read wide receivers better. Something like that's not overall hard, I say. You just need to keep your eyes on the receiver's hips, The hips don't lie, and that's what it is. Another issue is he gives up big cushions to wide receivers at times. That's something you regularly see from rookie cornerbacks. That usually improves with time. On top of all the improvements that we saw last season, it was reported that he was hurt all year, and that just makes all of it much more impressive to me. Everyone is on the Hamilton train at the moment. Well, all year basically, and all offseason. But Jaquan Brisker gets overlooked all the time. He's another prospect that needs to have more hype. And by all reports and profiles, he's expected to go early second round, but don't be surprised if he gets snatched up in the end of the first, middle of first, even the middle of first. That wouldn't shock me. He's just a complete player. I can't think of a scheme that he couldn't have an impact on. I view him as an elite athlete, huge potential to be a future Pro Bowl, even an all-pro player. So I don't think anybody should be sleeping on Jaquan Brisker. I could see him developing into a Bob Sanders, Earl Thomas type player, if that's what a team wants, or a guy who eats in the underneath coverage and locks shit down in the run game. Whichever you prefer. I think most other people think he's going to be a pure free safety, and if he has more value at that position than strong safety, shutting down the run, then do it. That's the advantage of having a player like Jaquan Brisker. Maybe you move them all around. Look, I've stated on my channel multiple times, I'm more of a fan of finding a full-time role for a prospect. But if anybody can pull off being moved all over the field, it's probably Jaquan Brisker. So if your team picks him up, I think you can have hefty expectations right off rip for him. Congratulations on drafting one hell of a player. Your team's run defending just got a hell of a lot better. Your coverage just got a lot more dangerous. But listen, that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. That helps me grow. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. We got tons more prospect videos to go. I'm making them all the way up to the draft. Listen, thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. I've received so much love on here, man. You guys rock. It's been a hell of a ride the last 2 months. Really, the whole time I've been on YouTube. People have treated me really great. But if you watch a tape or you watch some Penn State games last year, let me know in the comments what you think of Jaquan Brisker. Where do you think he'd go in the draft? What kind of player do you think he could develop into, like ceiling-wise? Do you also think he's got the potential to be an all-pro player? Let me know in the comments. Appreciate y'all. Peace.